Astronauts to the moon.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jaron from Jeranism back with another live video for you today. Thank you so much for joining us. It is Thursday, which means it's time for another presentation. We've got part 3 of Landucci's Spanish conference presentation on the NASA Blue Beam project. So thank you so much for joining us. And we have with us today, I believe for now at least, we'll see how long this lasts, Landucci. are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
Thank you for having me on for this part 3. I hope it's going to be a nice show. At least, understand what I'm saying. That is the important thing. And secondly, the image and the videos and the testimony I'm trying to use for speak for myself,
Yeah, and I think everything's working right. I don't know. It's a sad, sad day for us YouTube creators. I believe the YouTube Studio Classic is officially gone. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but
maybe this virus take it.
It did. It did shut it down. So yeah. I had to start with a new way, in a new fashion, if you want to see it in that way. And hopefully we
don't copy me.
Okay, damn. I like that though too much. I don't know if it's working right. It seems like it's working fine, but I can't really tell. So if everybody hears us, then we should be good. And let me check here and check here. And we are on D Live as well. We got people saying they loved part 2. Where is this in podcast form? Well, the Friday Lounge is in podcast form, but I don't believe the Thursday shows have been added yet. So you just have to find them on YouTube under my channel. All right, so if everybody remembers, we already did part 1. We did part 2 the past 2 Thursdays. By the way, if you're looking for what's going to be happening next Thursday we have Josh Brown, author of The Spiral Life. He's going to be joining me to talk a little bit about his book. So that's what's going on next Thursday. Tomorrow we have the Friday Lounge. Hopefully Iro will be there. I don't know. Iro, you thinking of joining us?
Yeah, I hope you that too.
Okay. We'll see.
I don't have anything in agenda, so.
All right. And that should be fun. We'll talk a little bit of Corona. Obviously, that's the big topic. Everyone's sheltering in place. Very scared. Fear is running rampant everywhere. Toilet paper, however, is not running rampant, at least where I'm at. It's all right. I got 4 rolls left. We're doing all right. But, no.
Yeah, some media here, and that was really surprise to me because some important media TV channels here in Argentina start talking about the declaration from Ponroll, or that I believe Republican candidate Ron Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Ron Paul?
Yes.
Ron Paul saying that, of course, that this pandemic, this virus is a hoax. In terms of, there is people that are dying from this disease, blah, 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 but it's just a business, a geopolitical business, and it's a hoax in the way that supposedly it's happening. So it was very shocking for me because that kind of statement, you never expect to hear in mass media television.
No, you wouldn't expect that. And I was trying to bring it up here, but something we'll talk about tomorrow. Unfortunately, my browser is not completing this dial. It says, checking your browser before accessing offguardian.org. Anyway, there was this article about 12 experts questioning the coronavirus. Great article for anybody to read. I thought we'd cover it tomorrow, go through each of these subject matter experts. Let's see if this thing... Oh, here we go. There we go. Now people can see it. Anyway, it's just 12 experts questioning the coronavirus panic, and you can go down, and there's each of these doctors, and then we can get quotes from them. And, so here this guy says, we are afraid that 1 million infections with the new virus will lead to 30 deaths per day over the next 100 days, but we do not realize that 20, 30, 40, or 100 patients positive for normal coronaviruses are already dying every day. So it goes through each of these guys, Dr. Wolfgang Water, Dr. Joel Kettner. Anyway, this will be all stuff that we will cover tomorrow. As it's crazy, but I'm hoping people are at least happy. They're at least not succumbing to the fear, home with their families. I've played more games of Yahtzee than I care to admit with my wife. But that's been kind of our way to keep off the TV. You play that over there? You ever play Yahtzee? Iru?
No Yahtzee. We
Oh.
play other games. I
Yeah,
don't
play
even
Yahtzee.
know that game.
Oh, man,
And
next
in
time I
fact,
see
we
you-
start with Linda. We start to creating like a flatter game. So
Really?
yeah, but very nice one.
You
I
move
mean,
around
so
the-
maybe in
you-
a few in a couple of months, maybe we're going to present it.
I like that idea. That is a great idea.
Yeah, but it's going to be a very interactive game.
Okay.
So
Yahtzee's
I hope-
Yahtzee's just a game with 5 dice. You throw the dice. You try and Yahtzee would be you throw the dice and you get all the same number. You know. So-
Here we play the same game, but we call Generala, which means something like general, something that,
Okay. Well, next
really
time I
bad
see you,
name,
next
but-
time I see you, I guess I'll teach you Yahtzee. But we also play the the simulation game, right? We can play that next time we see each other too. We didn't get to play it in Texas, but maybe next time.
maybe next time, yeah.
All right, so
Well,
let's
this
get.
is not a
oh.
good time for playing synchronized
No.
synchronized walk, right?
No, it's not the best time. You'll get told to.
It's not the best time.
We'd have to
go
stand
outside and
6
start
feet.
walking.
We'd have to stand 6 feet apart from each other. It'd be pretty miserable. So, how are things generally over there in Argentina and upside down land? Okay.
Yeah, well, things are, like I believe it's not so bad as Spain or Italy or so many other places, other countries in Europe. But we must get inside our houses after 8 p.m. Nobody get out. You have police patrols making rounds on the streets. Of course, there is no like dictatorship kind of a scenario, because maybe
Right.
if you are outside walking at night, smoking a cigarette or whatever, the police maybe just warn you to get inside of your house, but you need to do it. I mean, you cannot just keep walking,
Right.
but you don't need to go outside with like a government paper to present anytime that you're going to buy food or things like that. But all the mayors, commerce are closed. Everything is buying online. Few tents are open. So it's a very, very strange and bizarre type of world, like zombie world.
Zombie world, yeah. Well, we are in the age of deception, although I did notice a funny chat here. This person, Crispiracy, asked the question about the Flat Earth board game. He says, what's going to be on the bottom of the board game? What's
Well,
underneath?
we
What's
think
on the
about
other
that.
side?
And it's going to surprise.
All right, good. To look forward to that. Let's see here. The only thing, and I never do this. I'm going to do something I never do. Could somebody maybe send $1 super chat? The reason I'm asking that, I've never asked anybody to send a super chat before, but because it's a new way of setup, I can't bring up I usually bring up a separate screen where I can look at super chats, and now I can't do that because I don't know how. But I do see a screen here that says viewer activity, and underneath it says no super chats. So I'm just wondering if this screen will actually allow me to read super chats. So maybe if somebody's out there, if they want to send $1 just so I can say, okay, yes, I can see super chats and they do work and people can send them. Otherwise, as of right now, I don't know how I would see them unless I bring up the, I guess I could bring up the video and then, yeah, but then I'm not watching Iru's presentation. So anyway, let's get started. Iru, go ahead and show your screen. Let's see if everything is working correctly.
Okay, I'm sharing right now, so
Okay. let's see.
supposedly
Yep. And we are, boom.
I'm presenting.
Yes, except for
Okay,
you have my
okay.
you have my little box in the upper right hand corner. I don't know if you can make that go away or maybe it
I
goes wrong.
don't.
Okay, you don't
There
see
you
it.
have super chats.
Let's see. I see him now. Thank you guys. Okay, that's good. Commercial sound and video. Thank you for the $1. Oil Bear and G Rocher and R.I. Patriot. Thank you guys so much. Boom, boom. Appreciate that. Now you don't need to do that any further unless you appreciate the content here by Iru or myself. But thank you. So I do have a screen where those will stay up and I can see them. So I do understand the new program now. I guess I'm not afraid of the new studio anymore. Thank you very much, Just Jack, Flat Earth. Thank you. Want to be a member, Bear? Want to be a member? Want to be a member? I like that name. That's good. All right. Very good. Iru, we are showing your screen. We are ready to go.
Okay, so I am not going to make like a resume like I did in the second part, but
Okay.
anyone that was following the um, the Hangouts knows what I'm talking about. Just I'm going to present the main topic slide, which is referring to the 4 steps of the NASA Bluebeam project and the partners that are involved, because maybe NASA it's the director of the operation, quote unquote, because the UN is also there and other agencies, but at least in this paper is NASA and the Soviet Union at that time, the most important actors behind this document. And of course, it's divided in 4 steps. The 4 steps, we cover the first part, and we are now in the second part. It's a lot of cover, because if we're talking about the gigantic space show, I believe that maybe in the 80s, it wasn't so big, so gigantic, but now in our days, the most reality show is based on space. So there is a lot of things to cover, but we at least present some ideas based on papers and research about the 3D optical and sound holograms, the laser projections, and the idea was trying to bring information that to say, well, could be possible that if they're gonna fake some kind of alien invasion, they have the technology at that time, how that technology evolved and changed over time until reach our days, right? And if you are following just the things that we as regular and normal people can research, you need to add that special condiment about, well, if that is on the public domain, what is behind that? What is in the military domain, which is in this kind of technological, places that we don't have even access to see. So that was, the kind of idea. So I'm going to continue based on the gigantic space show and trying to cover the next 2 steps. I don't know if I was clear, but
Very
that
clear.
was
Very clear. Yes.
okay. So let me just.
And if you missed section 2, we had some great parts of section 2. I love the video by Dr. Carol Rosen.
Yes.
That was part of section 2. We also looked at the Illuminati cards as part of section 2. There you go. Some of that. So that was good.
This is. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry for my.
No. It's you. Go ahead.
No, but I gonna say, because I just start to make something more clear. I use the Steve Jackson's play card to present because for me it's very
Telling. Yeah.
storytelling in itself, the cards. So it's very, you can adapt and fit very well to the Bluebeam NASA project, and trying to bring at least like a starting point based on the images and the cards to the people. So it's everything is part of this gigantic space show. The crop cycles, the alien stories, the satellites, the nuclear capability, the meteor strike. So we cover that in that part. Of course, like you said before, we start talking about the militarization, the space of the space. That is something that the Secretary of Bernard von Braun, this woman, is telling us from the beginning of, or at least the first time that I met this woman, the first thing that I heard from her was the militarization of the space, right? The weaponize of the space. So you have it here right on the way, and how that was translated in real life, based on propaganda, based on TV shows, movies. Also consider the space weather as a weaponized way, or a way to weaponize the space, because everything that produce fear and take money of that is a way to weaponize things. So we also show how Obama it's talking about that supposedly the Pentagon declares that the weather change condition, the climate change condition is worse than even the most, super big bomb out
Right.
there. So that right in your face, they are telling you, okay, the big enemy is our Mother Nature. The weather is our enemy. So we need to fight this kind of enemy, and that is in some way an alien invasion or an alien enemy,
Right.
because
The outside threat.
you don't exactly. Supposedly the solar winds came from outside. So the idea here is trying to present, trying to deviate the original maybe alien invasion in terms of, okay, it's gonna be some spacecraft coming to the Earth, with little tiny green guys, and I believe, they develop more intelligent ways to use that first topic. And remember that the first guy who proposed that was this Sean Dewey in 1970 in a Japan conference. And that was very shocked me, because I expect that the alien invasion could be something presented in the 1950s, 40s, 60s, but not. This was presented even, with stories about Julio Verne,
Right.
based on the kind of space of this novelist, right?
Right. Jules Verne.
Exactly. So we present also the idea how they use big, big leaders in terms of the entertainment,
Right,
to present
celebrities
ideas like the day of the asteroid. We need to, bring the idea that an asteroid could destroy the Earth to the people. So if you put out there, some random guy in terms of astrophysicists, how are you going to reach the normal people?
Right. So you have to put the celebrities in front of people's faces. You have to put the stars.
Exactly, the stars. Exactly. So we compare Walt Disney production with
Skylab.
Skylab or NASA production, because they show the same kind of solar flares 20 years before. Something that is ridiculous, because this was something that they recreate for educational purpose, and then they use this kind of nonsense images, which is something really crazy. We talk about meteors, artificial meteors, and the pattern that they use, how NASA and Soviet Union and German are creating, even in our days, man-made comets. And more important, there is a company called a Japanese company called Star Alley that makes meteor showers, debris simulator,
Right.
space debris simulation, etc., etc. So
Anybody
I
can
did a
just purchase
resume.
those. Anybody can just buy those. You can just buy a show if you want to.
Yes, $10,000. They start about $10,000. Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So, well, I make the resume. I say I'm not going to do it,
But we did it anyway.
but we did it.
The
anyway.
recap.
Exactly.
Yeah, we
So,
did a little recap. That's right. It's good to do a recap.
So, it's exactly.
Yeah.
It's something. And thank you for Chuck Flatter. That guy is awesome.
yeah.
He put that some super chat there. Sorry for. It's
Oh,
not my
thank you.
show. It's not my channel.
Jack.
But I,
No, that's great. And like I said, now I have two monitors, and I used to be able to pull the super chats to another monitor, so I'd be able to watch those at the same time. And now, if I'm watching your presentation, I can't see that screen, but I'll figure it out eventually. Anyway, thank you, Just Jack. He said, Creator Skycock, New Year today, renewed moonlight, rising and setting north instead of south, spring harvest ready, setting Virgo, turned grain towards earth, read scripture, kill religion. Happy New Year. Thank you, Just Jack. We
Thank you.
enjoyed hanging out with you there in Dallas, very much so. All right, back
So
to...
keep going.
You can keep going.
The idea now is continue to expose the gigantic space show, but showing the part that maybe the media is creating that gigantic show, because the other topics that I showed before is more related with real life event in terms of the screen is a sky, right? So that is a really more difficult, but also have much importance in the brains of the people, because if you see in the sky maybe it's more real than if you see in television for, maybe astronomers or amateurs guys that are looking to the sky. Of course, they never can prove nothing because they cannot go there.
Right.
But in terms of this massive fakery of the, or the creation of the scenario, the ideal scenario to present the alien agenda, they need, of course, to use real world scenarios. So
Right.
the sky is the only way to do that. Of course, you can transfer that to the crop cycle, but we talk, I believe was in the first part. So we covered that, and now I want to focus on the most easily for them to present this gigantic space show, which is the television. And of course, if you go to the Steve Jackson cards, you're gonna have this idea that is very storytelling in self. I don't know if it's correct my terms, but
Yeah.
okay. So we have this idea of NASA faking moon landings, the idea in the science fiction that they trying to transfer associated with even with the Nazis, that no, the Nazis now are living in the moon, in the dark side of the moon, in bases, or the alien has bases on the moon that are spying us, and all that kind of stories. And when you start, at least, of course, and take into consideration that we have a finite time to present all this, but if you want to take this as starting point, because this is impossible to cover in all areas. But first of all, I'm going trying to leave clear that we as human race, we have the technology to fake or to present concepts in terms of movies, not just in the 80s, or because everyone's saying no, at that time the moon landing was real because we don't have CGI or digital compositing, but we have the regular stuff to do that, which is called matte painting, and that kind of techniques exist from the early 20th century. I mean, 1905. It's already there, the matte painting. It is a very old technique. The difference is that you need to have really good and really talented people to draw
Really
the
good
images.
You need really good artists.
A really good artist, exactly. And to recreate that and replicate is very, very, it's going to take you so much time. And of course, in our days, we have computers, so you can do, too much faster. And I don't say better, because
No, the
we
models-
now in 2020, 2018, 2017, we have a really good technology. But not so much time ago, we, George Lucas for Star Wars, they still use matte painters and
Right.
also miniatures.
Models, right. They use minis all the
Models.
time. Yep. Just
Yeah,
like
but-
in Space Odyssey and other films. But even today.
Yeah, exactly, because it's really hard to fake, the real life behavior, even in computers. Of course, we have now a really good technology, but still is very hard to do. It's very expensive. It's not for everyone, out there to create movies at that quality. And now we are talking, there is not so much people that maybe want to get involved in so this massive deceiving strategy for the regular public. I mean, you must take that into consideration. It's not something that we put on the on the paper news. Well, who wants to join to fake the moon landings?
Right.
So you need to have very close people, very
Compartmentalization.
tight.
Very
Exactly,
right.
exactly. So maybe sometimes it's in this kind of condition, it's better to have the right people in terms of the secrecy than the artist himself.
Right.
At least that is my opinion for other topics that I research. So the important thing here is we have the technology. The technology is the hand of a human being. And just that,
Right.
and the palette with colors and the techniques to put in front of the glass the things that this artist paint and compose it. And that is why it's so fake, and you can really really easily tell where is the connection behind the front projection and the real foreground, right? So there is even a university in Russia that in 2017 this university is a filmography university. It's not a science in terms of astrophysics university.
Right.
So here is the mix, and this is not using our modern technology. This is just a regular projector and real foreground, and the
Right.
combination between two.
Right.
And nothing more than that. I mean, it's not even something that you can say no, because at that time they don't have the ability to do this or to
No,
do that. And
they
that
certainly did.
So it's very perfectly well done. And of course, I believe the moon landing has a lot of objective behind it. I don't think that the here is one of the most clear examples of this technique, where they use real scenarios with the mix of the projection mapping, because you can clearly see how the light is behave
off.
differently between the foreground and the background. So again, this is not, me, a lot of people out there know me that I have my research, very deep research in terms of the visual effects behind the moon landing and the ISS. This is not the kind of presentation for, going deep in that sense, because it's going to take forever. But with this simple example, you can really see how they use this really old technique. Here is another clear moment,
absolutely obvious.
picture to see that technique. And of course, on top of that, you need to put the idea of the CBS, which was, I believe, one of the most important partners in terms of doing that, because it's not only the Disney who helped people to fake that, but also CBS, supposedly they present these tiny models to give like a light cover of the event, showing to the people the type of simulation between what because they put the audio from the mission itself. So they trying to, show the audio, show the people in their homes the idea of, what the astronaut is saying is this representation. But they create all these models just for television. So I believe they share this kind of technology, quote unquote technology, to NASA, or vice versa. We have all these. This is the guy in Hollywood that is known as the guy who created the moon. And this guy was a Freemason. He was employed by Disney, one of the most important, in fact, guy behind a lot of projects of Disney, not just this idea of create the moon for doing television. But if you transfer this to the actual techniques that NASA use, it's perfectly compatible, because we know that NASA has the render bus projector, which is exactly the same kind of techniques. I'm talking about this kind of techniques. This is from NASA, and this is official from NASA. So you have the same kind of techniques, maybe with a little more precisely, more more technical, more specific, but it's the same principle. So we have all these agencies working together for making this big hoax. And I like I said before, maybe this is not something that was put on the way of creating this fake alien invasion, because maybe they have other objective at that time. But for without any doubt, they are using right now for the Blue Beam project, because how many stories are created in these moon landing conditions?
All their stories.
Well, I don't want to say all, but yes, all conditions, exactly. So this is a official patent that they have from 1905, and I showed this so many times before, but you can clearly see that supposedly the only evidence of a spherical Earth in the history of humankind is the 1972
Right.
Apollo 17 picture. And when you start looking into detail, you can clearly see that this is just a photograph, but from a painting object. And, very, very convenient. They have that patent from 1905, which is exactly the same thing that they present
Right.
as a real picture.
I love that it's the device for producing illusionary effects. It's very illusionary.
Exactly. So they have it. They have all the pieces to put together. I mean, like I told you before, we can do a whole presentation based on VFX applying to the moon landing and ISS,
Ooh,
but
that one I
this is
would
not the
love.
case.
That would- yeah,
But
let's move on.
it's part of the gigantic space show,
Right.
without any doubt. And then I make all the time, I make the same joke, but for me it's very, it's very shocking, because if you are an educated person, how is going to defend that the astronaut, and you have these kind of moments where the astronaut cannot
Bend down.
just simply, stay on the ground, and how the hammer hitting the boot. I mean, what? Boom! You could die immediately if you broke the suit, supposedly. What? What that? It's like a child,
Yes.
playing on the
With a little
on the
wooden
ground.
hammer, yeah.
And I mean, what is the explanation, the technical explanation that this guy needs to make so hard to just
Yeah,
get
there
on
is
your
no
knees?
explanation. Nope.
and then turn around?
Right.
And why you cannot get the tool? I mean, how many tries you need? But again, this is for the educated people out there that are trying to defend with math and trying to say no, because I mean, if you
defend
believe this,
Yeah.
nobody can help you.
No, it's just something you want to believe so badly that you're literally, they could show you anything on the screen right now and you're going to make an excuse for why it's real because you want so desperately for it to be real.
This is one of the whoa. No, and then you can clearly see that these bags are empty.
Right.
They move so in some way that you can clearly, if you start to analyze all the movement and the physics involved behind, you can clearly see that, of course, they are hanging on wires, they are pulling, there are people out there or balloons that are pulling or helping to make this move, and give these restrictions about that I cannot go on my knees because I have the setup is for certain kind of
It's for walking. Right.
Exactly. And then you can see that everything is empty. I mean, there is no the official suit using, and then you have this kind of time to time, this kind of official videos that they are showing you how supposedly they train. But when you compare with a real life moment, you say, man, I mean, it's the same thing. And that cannot be, for me, it's impossible to match, something that you never go before. And then when you go out there, it's the same thing as you are hanging on wires.
Did you see it?
So,
Yeah.
and then you have this kind of thing. But the important thing here is this is part of the gigantic space show. This is another one, another classic when you start looking into this, side by side between the years, between the decades, you can clearly see how they develop these techniques in terms of matte painting. This is matte painting. And then suddenly when the digital compositing technology start to make more available and more quickly, they start using real videos, filming for upper, stratosphere from satellite balloons or planes, and they start using that as digital compositing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why you never see, this is clear picture.
I love the one with the
drawing.
shadow. The shadow of the
Yeah.
thing is on there.
Yeah, the shadow of the satellite down here.
There you go.
You know, I mean, what the, well, the thing is, then you have, this is and this is very clear. This is, for me, is a drawing, and this is a real video. And if you are in the, you know, in the video
Industry.
industry, thank you, you have that sense, you have that eye to say, no, man, this is a digital compositing. I mean, this is that is why the clouds never morph, and we don't have any depth in terms of the velocity and in the distance. This is a miniature, you know, put in front of a green screen, or just simply a front projection technique, which is more easy. And then suddenly, boom, you know, aurora borealis, lightning storms, city lights, but the clouds never morph. You know, we have it. The people must be understand that here is a super time lapse.
Right.
So this is not the ISS going at speed of light. This is supposedly the ISS going very fast, you know, 17 miles per hour, but you need to do this in a time lapse.
Right.
And how can you explain that you have lighting, which only could be captured in terms of the time lapse, but the clouds never morph?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any, you know, live element on this. You know, it's just like a mapping sphere, 3D sphere.
And there's no live views at night like that at all. It can't be found anywhere. And we did get a super chat from Commercial Sound and Video who says, Iruism, New Potatoto. He says, peace, brother. We need your professionally trained CGI. And that's why Iru is awesome, is because he does this for a living and can easily spot when these things are not legit, or are a fabric of CGI, or are they models, or, you know, many other things that they use. Because they don't fool us in just one way. They use many different ways.
No. Yes. And in fact, I need to recognize that they have a really good techniques in our days, because they when they are in the ISS, they have some tricks that really blow my mind. I mean, they are not so full as we think, but they have errors, like any industry out there. Simply as that. And I remember when I get this, and this is for the people that they don't believe that they have layering composition in the 50s, but remember that Disney patented the multi-layer composite technique in the 50s, and they used to create all their movies. So I mean, the connect.
Oops. Oh, we might have lost Iru real quick. Hold on a second. All right, you're back.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
What I'm telling you was like, we know the connection between Disney and NASA. We can see in the picture when Bernard von Braun is with Walt Disney, or GFK is with Walt Disney and Bernard von Braun. I mean, this kind of family, of course, they are all over the place. So this was the technique that they developed.
Sorry, folks. Iru is having a little bit of a poor connection. Oh, you're back. Go ahead.
I'm back. Sorry for this connection problem. Sometimes at this time, we have like the same problems. I was doing a hangout yesterday, and the same thing happened, and is in this particular moment in time. So what I'm telling you is that along the way, they develop a lot of techniques for
All right. I just keep getting a reconnecting. There is a poor network connection on my side, so hang with us here. Maybe. All right, you're back again.
Okay. Yeah, I heard the sound when Skype disconnect. Sorry, guys. Maybe it's going to be like this. Maybe 10 minutes from now. I have the same problem yesterday, so
okay,
I'm still presenting.
Yep. Or maybe not. wonder what's going on here. Let me check this thing here.
Man.
Okay, now you're back again. Just keeps doing that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm going to maybe disconnect some things that are, taking me internet connection. Now I'm presenting.
Yes. Maybe
Yes,
stop. Maybe
okay,
stop that
okay.
video from playing. Maybe that's what's hurting it. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. But okay.
Okay.
What I'm saying to close the topic is that at that time they have this kind of techniques that are really impressive and really convincing. And but now in our days with our modern eyes, we can clearly see the tricks behind. But the important thing is that they use matte painting from the 1920s, 1910. So when it's reached, something like NASA in the 70s, of course we have the opportunity to do all they do. And at that moment was really impressive. I mean, if you see the moon landings in the way of how they produce these kind of images at that time was really impressive. So, I mean, it's right now that we can detect the problems because we have, everyone out there have technology to play with, and trying to recreate the same thing. But like I tell you, it was a really good job for me, at least from NASA. Of course, they must be destroyed all the data, all the videos, all the images if they want to keep the secret.
Right.
But they don't. So we have that. And I believe that with this statement came from the infamous Elon Musk. You can start see how important the media becomes to fake all these gigantic space shows. So I'm gonna play that.
Okay.
Join me in welcoming Elon Musk.
All right, so thank you very much for having me. Look forward to talking about the SpaceX Mars architecture, and what I really want to try to achieve here is to make Mars seem possible. I think there are really two fundamental paths. History is going to bifurcate along two directions. One path is we stay on Earth forever, and then there will be some eventual extinction event. I don't have an immediate doomsday prophecy, but it's eventually, history suggests there will be some doomsday event. The alternative is to...
And this kind of idea is the only idea
Right.
that they use, I mean, it's hilarious.
Makes you wonder about things going on right now, around. So
Yeah.
I see a lot of people in the chat talking about thinking that the internet will go down. I've heard a few other people say that there's going to be a loss of internet soon. Through April.
I
don't know.
heard that.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard that. No, in fact, here in Argentina was an official news that, for example, Netflix, they degrade the quality of the streaming because there is so much people right now using Netflix that they need to get down the quality of the service because if not, it's going to overload.
Right.
So yesterday I have the same kind of internet connection problems at the same time, between the 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry for that, man.
No, it's okay. And
so-
if we do get cut off, if Ebru leaves, then we will. I'll still be here, but we'll rework this to another time to get the rest of this out. But let's see how much we can get in today.
Okay, so if you are hearing what this guy said, I mean, they use all these guys use the same narrative, so that we are a finite species, that maybe someday some asteroid is going to come to the Earth and destroy everything, so we need to put money. And if you link this guy with Brian May, which proposed, is the guy using from the media to present the idea of asteroids, so they cover every type of person, and that is very, very, geoengineering society, because they don't leave things to random kind of ideas or no, they go really in detail. So
In a multi-planet species, which I hope you would agree that is the right way to go. Yes?
it's embarrassing.
That's what we want. Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah, we want to go there.
You really want to create the dream of Mars in people's minds, and I like the fact that it's driven by infinite improbability, because I think our ship is also extremely improbable. This is where the entertainment industry can play a huge role in just imagine, putting that dream in people's heads.
Put it in their heads.
And
Put it in their heads.
that is the key.
Right.
We need to put this in the the media and the entertainment is where you're going to get the magic wand and put these dreams in people's head. And then if you live and you are a taxpayer and you hear this kind I know that a lot of this video maybe the people already know, but for me it's important to recap. But if you're a taxpayer in the United States and you hear this kind of press conference of the Curiosity Mars rover, you need to go immediately with torch and get fire on NASA, man, because it's like it's one of the most.
This one where he talks about the contingency plan. We don't need the contingency.
Yeah, no, but this is in your face. I mean,
Yeah.
let's take a look.
Money, $2.5 billion. We don't put it in the rover and send it to Mars. We spend it here on Earth. That this whole enterprise, if you divide it by every woman, child, man in this country, comes out to be the cost of the movie. I know, I speak on behalf of all my colleagues in science. That's a movie I want to see.
Well, tonight was a great drama that was played. I felt like an adventure movie, but in reality, I kept telling myself, this is real. This is real, what's happening, and what a fantastic demonstration. This movie costed you less than $7 per American citizen. And next week, and next month, and next year, we'll be bringing new discovery.
And that it's, because this is an all press conference.
Right.
But that's
how they
key.
look at it. Yeah, that's how they look at it. And that's how people need to recognize it. And that's what I've always said. I said if people paid out of their own pockets, like they go to a movie, they decide to support that movie. If that's how NASA worked, then I wouldn't have anything to say about it. If people want to go, just like Star Trek, just like Star Wars, if they want to pay their own money to watch those programs, that's fine. But when you're passing it off as real, teaching it in schools, that's where you have a problem. Taking tax money to do it, and not just a little, but $58 million a day.
Exactly. I mean, and I know there is a lot of people that they like me to say exactly. I don't know why, but the thing is,
I love it too. So hey,
I was thank you. So they are telling your face, next day, next week, next month, we're gonna bring new discovery.
Right.
And that is what's happened today. You turn on your television, your phone, and all the news. Every day is a news about some kind of astrophysics discovery.
Right.
So it's insane the amount of supposedly discoveries that we are made in terms of cosmological background.
Oh yeah, what new planet did they find? Exoplanet? What is it made of? What rain? Is it diamonds that rains? Is it iron rain? Is it sideways rain? What is it that their telescopes have pulled out of the infinite sky vacuum today?
Exactly, and remember that Elon Musk, he received he was elected as a fellow of the Royal Society. Mm-hmm. He created a school called Ad Astra, which is like a surrounding of secrecy and all kind of nonsense. And that is, in fact, that is official things. I mean, there is not even something hidden from regular people. I mean, there is on the news. There is on the news that this guy created Ad Astra for receiving the kids receiving alternative education, and
right.
The logo is a pyramid. So he's completely inside of all this kind of secret society, or at least he's driven by these societies. Maybe he's not even so intelligent to participate on that. maybe this guy is an asshole, complete asshole. So maybe they just use him to, putting out there some kind of guy to, if everything gets wrong, well, this is a guilty guy.
Right, we can blame him.
But
yeah,
exactly. But they receive these kind of condecorations, medals or titles, to in some way give credibility and say, hey, man, you are one of us.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have, in our days, everything that we see on space is just through media, television. Is not so hard to do if you are an independent artist and you are an motion grapher or some kind of guy behind.
And things like shadows and reflections are all figured in now to the CGI software. It's all very easy. It's all part of it.
Yes, all automatic,
Mm-hmm.
complete automatic. And in fact, and that is why this is not the objective of the presentation, but you have all the techniques that are used in the Hollywood with super cranes, just really high cranes in terms of they reproduce certain movement. They repeat exactly the same movement once, 1, 2, 3 times, and then they put all the how can I tell you? They create they use real objects mixed with CGI computers,
right,
but not with the motion tracker techniques. They repeat the movement based on robotic arms.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of video that we saw, this is even in real time. So we assume that this is happening in real time,
right,
but this could be made 3 weeks early.
Sure.
And
yeah, that's what I've said about that stuff all the time. That just because they tell you it's live, if there's no independent verification, if there's no secondary verification, there's nobody else up there that can say, yes, this is taking place in real time. It's just their word against your eyes.
Exactly. So, this is very funny for me because in real life event of NASA, they are asking for, but the way that they say, at first I want to be an astronaut, but now I want to be an animator.
Right.
So it's
we need all the skills, right in your face.
Yeah, it's exactly, man. So they have all these kind of miniature all over the place. This is just a representation, but the idea, I covered this so many times, and there is out there a lot of video for those who want to see the real things behind it. Of course, after you show a scuba diver, you lose all respect. There is no any way back. There is no way back machine to bring the honor of NASA again. After you see a scuba diver there and you see hundreds of thousands of bubbles, even bubbles that are stopping in the middle air and get back to the seeking the orientation to go up there again to the surface. So after this only one video, it must be enough to wake up in terms of that this is just a movie, no more than that. And that's is enough. This is the school that Elon create a different type of education for their children, is surrounding by a halo of mystery and secrecy. Right in your face,
The Son of Light, of course, too.
The Son of Light, this kind of really good. They born with these really amazing names,
Right.
They mention, this idea that Bernard von Braun predicts this type of things or this type of ideas related with this modern Elon Musk being the government in Mars. Of course, the spacecraft that now Elon is created, that there is, the same kind of
reusable aircraft that comes back down and lands and can take off again. And Bob, I see your post there. Bob saying that we should cover this as a public service announcement. I saw that New York Post article. We'll talk about it tomorrow. New York Post article, Iru, that said that we shouldn't be licking each other's anuses at this time because of coronavirus. But we'll talk about that tomorrow.
No.
It's the kind of news going around here, okay? This is what they call news. Is we've got to have no more rim jobs. All right, keep going. Sorry.
And then continuing, well, of course, something that at least must be taken into consideration is that all the guys behind the space industry, beside the government, it's all part of special families, special bloodlines, or there are millionaires and this connection between
Billionaires, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's of course you can think in terms of logical thing because of course, man, you need a lot of money to create these kind of companies and blah blah blah. But they are all linked directly to the government and the agencies in the government. So you want to believe that Bill Gates was a regular guy who invented the Microsoft, stealing ideas from Steve Jobs? Go ahead and believe that. I mean,
Right.
if you start going back and see who was the father, who was the family, and I tell you before, and I'm going to present here, but even a regular guy, supposedly regular guy, as Shane Blunt, the musician, he was connected with the royal family of the Queen from his grandfather, and he gives a lecture, a speech inside of Oxford, and the first thing that he said was, "My family, I am a military pilot. My father is a military pilot. My grandfather is a military pilot, and my family is connected from the 10th century with the royal bloodlines of the Queen."
Right.
And now he's singing from the "You Are Beautiful." Now he's singing for endorsing and bring the idea of the moon landing was real.
Right.
That was the last album is called Moon Landing. So it's all is stage, like
Right.
Russian Beat always said. And of course, and maybe my English is very bad, and I heard this is not exactly what he said, but this guy is telling that we in the space mafia. That is what
I can't stand that guy either. That's the guy from Moon Express.
Yes, the Moon Express. So I'm gonna play the video and tell me if I'm wrong or he said space mafia.
Okay.
I think we're really on the verge of reaching all the dreams that we've been working on for so hard in our collective space mafia, space mafia throughout the world. No matter where we're working, whether it's in government.
You said space mafia?
Yep. And what he's talking about is all those guys together, they have these dreams, even though these dreams are going nowhere. And if we went to the moon in 1969, 70, 71, 72, all these dreams would be manifesting in 75 and 78 and 80 and 82 and 83 and 87. Not talking about it now and kicking the can down the road constantly. And again, it just happened just the other day that NASA came out with an article that they closed their McLeod facility and Stennis Center after an employee contracts the coronavirus, and because of that, now they've pushed it down the road again.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yes,
so they're just going to keep kicking the can, and this is what we've been talking about forever. And nobody will ever say, "Oh, you were right." But we've been saying this forever, since 2015, when they were saying, remember that I think it was Elon Musk who came out and said that he would have people circulating the moon in orbit of the moon in 2018. And we laughed and laughed and said, folks, it'll never happen. And now that story goes away. It's just stories to keep people moving on, to keep people thinking these things are coming. So just like we heard that we're going to go to the moon in 2024, if you think that we're going to the moon in 2024, man, I got a bridge to sell you. It's just going to continue to be kicked down the road. And now with coronavirus, it's just the same thing. It'll be able to kick this down the road. Everything that we heard of, the entire telescope that's supposed to come out now. What's the name of the telescope? The Space Webb James Webb telescope, right? Which is already tens of billions of dollars over budget and was supposed to be launched in 2016, then 18, then 20, and it just allows them to kick it down the road again, and they'll be behind budget, and they'll be able to go to the Senate, and they'll be able to ask for more money, and they'll get it, and it's just a continued storyline, and people either can wake up to it or they can continue to be fooled by it. It's one or the other. There's no way for us to tell, we've proven this. We've proven it by telling you. It will just be continued to be kicked down the road. And this is all that keeps happening. And when you can wake up to that and stop holding them in such high regard, that's the question.
Okay, calm down, man.
Sorry.
Calm down.
I get upset about that.
No, and again, this Moonspress, of course, the logo of Moonspress is referring to the 33. You can go really deep inside that. But he used the same argument that the idea of a space, multiplanetary species, and because someday an asteroid is going to hit the Earth, and
for academia or the commercial space, this is a very exciting time. And if we all pull together, I think we're really just about on the verge of creating that multi-world species that really drives our heart and our passion.
Yeah, and blah blah blah. Then you have the 33. All the symbology that at least you need to take into consideration because they use it all the time. And then this is a very famous interview of the Arthur C. Clarke, the guy who works with all these elites, with Disney, with NASA. He was a novelist, writing stories and stealing stories from others.
Right.
And when he was asked about the idea of a communication satellite, he laughed. But he said something that if you apply right now with this pandemia, or if you apply with the 9/11 situation, is the doctrine of the shock, or shock doctrine. I don't know how to say.
Yep, shock doctrine.
But it's the same thing that when you create a huge stress in the society, they're going to accept wherever. Mm-hmm. They're going to, let me just play the video.
Well, it's like what's going on now.
When you first came up with the concept of communication satellites, didn't many scientists think this was a pretty far out and unreasonable idea?
Well, it was far out. It was 36,000 kilometers out. But no, not at that time. This was 1945, and the V2 rockets had arrived. And when my paper was published, the atomic bomb had been dropped. So at that time, people were prepared to accept almost anything. And I don't remember any negative criticisms. In fact, I don't remember any comments at all, to tell the truth. But there's certainly no feeling this was nonsense. And 10 years before, it would have been. But 1945, no.
Yeah. And the guy who supposedly, create all this fantasy of the satellites and all the orbits that supposedly you can park for having the geostationary satellites and all that kind of things. And the only thing that they used was the microwaves radiation, through the ionosphere and other bouncing equipment, and they put the history behind of the satellite. And of course, that is why we start this presentation in the first part talking about the Sputnik, and the Sputnik be the first false flag in the era of the space,
right,
to make the people that believe that space is real, and we can put out there things that can spy you, watching you, attack you / defense you, and blah 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 blah. But all these layers are one on top of each other to create this false illusion of the space.
Right. And it's been constant. It's been so constant since they started this that it's a surprise anybody was able to get away from it.
Exactly. And one of the most insultant to the intelligent of the human was this, and I showed this so many times before, but it's hilarious. I mean, this is a university in Peru. And maybe if you do this in some developed country, you're going to get killed immediately, but not in Peru, because Peru, as we in Argentina not at this level, but Peru is a very poor country, and the official media has a lot of they talked with scientists, satellite scientists in their countries, and they are very criticized the money that Peru puts in terms of satellite, because they make the same show. They go into politicians, the politicians present an idea. The idea is a new satellite that is going to bring new ways to communicate and transmit television and have more access to data that we can use to predict the weather and avoid floods. How you say when water start to
flows,
and all these kind of marketing process. They put the money, and then when supposedly the satellite needs to start working, never works. And they say, well, right now we are using the GOES satellite from United States because we need to wait until the satellite get on the park orbit and start working. And, after that, the government changed, the politicians changed, so the new ones came and presented the same idea. So the guys from Peru start saying, hey, stop putting money in things that never work. Well, beside that, we have from the university, they contract NASA to put a nano satellite, So you expect that the nano satellite, dropping by NASA was in some kind of more nice show. At least if you're going to lie me well, don't exactly, because I need to convince the other guys that put the money.
Peruvian science satellite as he gets ready to cast it away for its science mission in orbiting the Earth.
Oh, look at that.
And this part is for burning all the complete world. 1, 2, 3, and Penny Whitson said we. She said we when she drops the satellite.
Right.
Find the result. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
That's it. When it enters orbit.
So when are you going to stop spinning? I mean,
never.
This is never, man. I mean, it's going to be like 3 seconds working, 10 seconds not. 3 seconds working like my internet right now.
Right. That is actually supplying your internet down there, I think, in South America.
Maybe,
right
man. Maybe. And of course, the authorities behind this, well, you can see here the old one.
No, it's really hard.
With the wire attached. Because when you see the complete video from the Peruvian
pause it right
university,
there so people can see that. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah. When the Peruvian satellite was dropped into space, if you see complete, you see the faces of the authorities of the universities, and there is two guys that look each other like saying, "Man, I see well." That astronaut dropped our satellite with the hand, by hand. I mean, we lost our shot right now. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's all part of the gigantic space show.
Right.
I showed this many times before. The only difference is that I add the images because I always came with this list of technologies that are used for the real GPS and the real communication method.
And of course, people ask, well, how does GPS work? How does GPS work without satellites? And it's so easy.
Yes, when you have this list, even more easy.
Right.
So not much time ago, I'm start typing this in Google and say, well, let me check if all this technology really exists today. Right. So I'm start typing the first one, the second one, the third one, and everyone exists. Mm-hmm. and not just exist, they get better from the last 20 years. So all this list is related with all this picture, and this is our telecommunication and GPS technology. No more than that. I mean, you have everything. You have the big balloons, the small balloons, the zeppelins, the drones, the cables, the antennas, the radar, the ionospheric bounds, and I assume many more that there is not inside the list that they still use.
I saw something great the other day. I forgot who was talking about it. Maybe it was Ben from Taboo Conspiracy. But, Sirius Radio only works in the 48 continental United States, as if the satellites flying above your head providing, Sirius Radio don't want to work for Alaska or for Hawaii. They don't work in Puerto Rico. They only work in the 48 continental United States. It makes no sense at all. But again, people always want to believe that these that your phones are communicating with these satellites 23,000 miles away. Believe what you want. Have fun.
Believe what you want, exactly. And I have here a lot of videos that I've been researched and found because I type all these things. And one of that, I don't have the time to, of course, to play everything. We can do that in another show. But one that really surprised me, that this was one of those that was a balloon launch in Sweden and take into Canada in 3 months. It was 3 months up there in the upper atmosphere, traveling and controlling by the winds. The guy was, with they drive this satellite balloon as they wish. They know the currents, the wind currents, the temperature currents, so they know how to move from here, from that, make the ocean cross. Look the clouds.
Right.
Why we never see that in the ISS?
No, yeah, you can tell. You can tell when something's legit and when it's not. Thank you very much, Dan Tran, for the super chat. He says, I don't know how to spell his name, but can you give $25 to the guy that's not good with English? He is good with English.
Hey, man, come on.
I love the work he puts in, especially on the rocket that was stuck in the atmosphere. Thank you. Yes, I will send it to Bob. Bob will send it to you. But anyway.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. Continue on.
So, I mean, one of the balloons that really caught my attention was this one, because in terms of the capability, the technology capability that these guys have. Another one was the world view, and I downloaded all the videos that they provide as free in the YouTube channel and the web page. It's called the Stratolite. What these guys was helping, for example, to Felix Van Garner, and then Alan, the guy from Google that
the guy who went up there in his little spacesuit.
Exactly. So they are all connected, and they make this live event when they drop the new world view. Let me just go in very quickly. This one is about 1 hour. We are not going to show the 1 hour. Sorry, not that one. I believe it was this one. Let me see. Yeah, 2 hours and a half. They give all the presentation about how they created the guys who work behind all the equipment, all the blah blah blah, all the things, until they drop the balloon. But one of the most important things that they are telling us is that, and I cannot play right now because I don't remember the minute, exactly the minute in the video, but they say that we can leave a balloon satellite around an area the time that we want. We can stack in the middle of the earth a balloon covering one area in particular the time that we want. So if you start to put that, and this is like a private company without, they just provide satellite images, for the big data in terms of the agriculture and things like that. So, and then they use, primary figures, politicians, to bring his credibility. But that is one way to see that. And the other way is to see how everyone is connected. The companies are very, very precisely with people that they want to. That is my perspective, to see this kind of thing. But the technology to fake, quote unquote, the satellite is already there. I believe here is where they say that capability.
Into a lot of the same markets that already exist. Worldview deploys state-of-the-art navigable Stratolites, a vehicle that operates in the stratosphere and can stay aloft for 45 to 60 days. Stay aloft for 45 in the stratosphere and can stay aloft for 45 to 60 days. Not only can a Stratolite stay up longer, but it's navigable. We can go where we need to be.
It's actually using the ambient wind to move back and forth. The layers going in different directions create winds that go...
What happened with the Coriolis effect?
Right, that's out the window.
Go in all directions, and by moving up and the layers going in different directions create winds that go in all directions, and by moving up and down we can essentially choose which directions that we're going, and by doing so you then can kind of just zigzag in an area and stay where you want to stay.
The product is not the flying of the payload, it is the data products that come from that flight. Really the value to our customers is actually the information that's inside that data, actionable information.
Worldview operates a fleet of satellites. That means access to information that was never available before Worldview existed, ultimately leading to higher quality decisions faster.
One of the areas that we're most excited about is how we are influencing.
Hey. Director of Business Operation and Government Relations.
Imagine that.
Hey, there you have it. So if you extrapolate this information, you can clearly see how satellite communications are made from the,
Right.
So I want to present this because it's related in this space fakery. And of course, they give a presentation to the investors, sorry for my pronunciation, but one of the guys that they bring, and this is from brainwashing people because there is no other explanation. They bring your best friend, Sharon, your best friend. And that best friend is not me, of course, is this astronaut, but not this. This one.
Boy.
I know.
I don't know. You haven't been in the States, but all over the radio and news, they've been playing an interview he did. He wrote a piece. I don't know what newspaper, but he told Americans how to handle being quarantined at home because he had to be quarantined, for a year on the space station. And he told how important it was to get outside, even though he couldn't get outside. So ridiculous.
Well, the only thing that this guy is going to tell the people is how tiny we are. Let me just play. It's about 2 minutes, please.
Thank you. Boy, I do miss that.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. And I miss...
Supposedly, he missed the ISS because they give the presentation with astronaut talking about space, right?
Go into space, and probably one of the reasons I'm here today is to have that opportunity once again. But let me back up for a second. If you go back about 114 years or so, a couple brothers named Orville and Wilbur Wright took to the skies for the first time in their Wright Flyer from Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. And we've been flying very successfully in the atmosphere for over a century now. And we've done incredible things. And each year, around the world, we probably generate more than $1 trillion of revenue in the atmosphere. And that's from the ground up to about 55,000 feet or so. And since 1961, here in the United States, when we flew Alan Shepard for the first time, we've had a lot of success in space. And each year, rockets launch from this planet with people and payloads. And companies around the world do about $300 billion worth of business in orbit around the Earth. So that's from about 100 miles and above. But the space in the middle, the stratosphere above 55,000 feet and up to about 100 miles, nothing. Really, pretty much nothing. And that's for a number of reasons. It's pretty obvious to, I think, the technical people in here that airplanes don't like to fly without air. So you get mostly above...
And what other things can fly without pushing air,
Right. His pretend space rockets, of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let me just skip forward because I want to...
But I got to tell you, one of the things I'm really excited about is flying people again. Get to climb in our Voyager spacecraft and get lifted up by a balloon, something like this, but a lot bigger, with hopefully a lot more helium in it, and go into the stratosphere and then get a chance to look at the Earth once again as a ball floating in the blackness of space.
I love it.
Like this.
Before my first flight on as a ball floating in the blackness of space.
Through helmets, through the curved glass.
And he's keeping talking about that we are insignificant in the black of space. And sorry for deviate the show.
No,
I didn't expect that, but it's...
Even deviations are great.
Yeah, so thank you so much, man. So after researching all these kind of things, one that caught my attention was this dual balloon deployment. I never saw this kind of configuration. Of course, I am not an expert in these kind of things, but these guys launch this dual kind of setup, very, very impressive things, at least for me, with some funders to control the spacecraft, because this is like maybe it's more advanced than NASA, and 35 kilometers up, completely flat. Of course, we know that, but I just want to present this as a picture, because you have the official video, the complete video, to see the flatness of space, not the blackness of space. So keep, getting back to the presentation, and really sorry for that deviation. All the space industry is a Hollywood-based industry, and there is just science fiction from the beginning to the end. Mm-hmm. There is no much more than that. You can see how they share concepts and ideas, and they stolen from one of each other, from different countries, different agencies, but everything is the same thing, I mean, if you have money and you have the media, you can, get more diffusion, get more promotion, and it's just simply as that.
Somebody in the chat, Unite and Create for Life, said something very important. She said, propaganda is how lies become truth. Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
Exactly. No, not he said very well. Of course, if you go to this, because the first guy that started talking about space, at least in the modern age, was all was from Europe, from Russia, from Polonia, from these kind of countries. Of course, maybe because they have to lead with the World War and the space and the rockets and the missiles, things like that, and maybe they say, okay, maybe we can reach the sky with this kind of technology, who knows. But I mean, what I'm trying to say is, if you see the models that Elon Musk present today, or how the Walt Disney helped NASA to present the idea to go to Mars in the in the time of Wernher von Braun, it's all these kind of concepts. Even in the Odyssey 2001, and this idea to, even in our supposedly hotel that we're going to have in space in a short period of time, they present this idea of the cylindrical shape, spinning to overcome gravity, or create our own gravity based on the centrifugal force. And it's all, there is very nice ideas, very nice concepts, but it's not based on reality.
No.
It's just that.
And that's a big problem.
That's a big problem. And then this is like something that maybe here in Argentina we used to say that a word, but I don't know what is the equivalent in the United States, but it's like, are fucking with you, man. I mean, how many chances are that this guy present this idea of rocket based on the Project Mars writing by Wernher von Braun? I mean,
it's like they haven't come up with anything new. They're just stuck on this whole idea of these upright phallic symbols.
Yeah, exactly. So even Julio Vernes write about the straight line of the horizon in the 8 days around the world, something like that. I don't know which is the title in English. And then
80
you
days
have
around the Earth,
so in fact, it's something that is very known, that Julio Verne participate in the Masonic lodges,
of course,
and especially in one which is called, in Spanish called niebla. I know that word in English is fog. It's like saying the fog society, which is, all these kind of, everything is surrounding by this kind of halo of secrecy and occultism and, these kind of things. So that is space, but of course it's part of the gigantic space show. And the space show is based on televisions that they put in real life event through the militaries or the space agencies, or it's all related, it's all connected. But the main point here, the core point here, is that they are doing it. I mean, it's in the document of the UN, and they have been doing science, from the Copernicus time, if you want to see in that way. Of course, we have all the symbology and the relationship between Disney with the educational media company and all the space, the paperclip operation that bring Nazis to America, even here in Argentina. Supposedly Hitler dies here in Argentina, and we have a really high-rank retired military guys that wrote books about, have conversations.
You have
with Hitler.
entire cities that are German, right?
A lot of cities we have that, and I mean that type of things are completely real. Are real at the same things that you have Wernher von Braun working in NASA.
Right. Yep.
But some way, this is the most. Top, how can you say, ridiculous thing ever.
Space communities or space civilizations like Asgardia is coming.
But this is a way to bring to real life. It's the same thing as Sputnik. It's the same thing as Elon Musk. It's the same thing as NASA. It's just for cover that huge amount of people that are super fan of science fiction and aliens and that kind of thing. So you bring this idea, and how many people is going to again reinforce the idea of space with this type of brainwashing. And again, you have people came from Russia, because this guy is from Russia. If you go to the bloodlines, you're going to see that this is not a regular guy. He came with this type of name. They use all this symbology that every space agency use, like the Egyptian symbology. The money that they use is called the sun. That is the name of the currency up there. But more important, that's they start working, of course, with NASA and other space agencies. And they say that we will be launching our first satellite Asgardia 1 from NASA Wallop flight facilities on blah, 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 or yada, yada, yada. And the fact this is the milestone. It's like the milestone of the Freemasons, that they put the first stone and then start to create in everything. And they say as that, I mean, this satellite represent our first stone in the construction, in the idea to construct our own spaceship.
It's the cornerstone.
Exactly, the cornerstone. Thank you for correcting me. And how you bring to, again, how you present as real? Well, you put a Russian astronaut, celebrating the Asgardia.
Asgardia is a united supranational space state open to all people on Earth.
Asgardia will possess a space fleet to defend humanity and planet Earth from threats emanating from outer space. It will open its embassies on all continents. We are not the best, but we are the future. I hug each and every one of you.
One humanity, one unity.
Of course, one world order, and that is the main topic in the NASA Bluebeam project. Everything is made for create the world, the new world order that we are seeing today. But again, you need to take this like, how from science fictions it's bring to reality, false reality. Well, this is the way. You use politicians, you use astronauts, everything is linked to, all together. There are all the same families, the same type of bloodlines, the same companies, the same mafia. The same mafia. So they have even another, I don't know.
The national anthem of Asgardia is played.
Funniest thing I've ever seen.
Please, everyone in their houses,
please stand up. Please stand up.
Stand up.
Put your hand on your
rise.
And they take seriously, man.
Yes.
I mean,
and then isn't there a song here? I remember hearing this. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
no, it's very, very important.
Here we go.
No, but that is the real lyrics.
Pale blue dot hanging in the sky. Let's keep going.
Oh man, you are sure?
Yes.
Maybe we lost like 100 spectators.
Yeah, they probably don't want to hear this anymore, but we'll see. Oh my goodness! Somebody says they're shitting.
Oh
Okay, I have toilet paper for that. The pale blue dot hanging in the sky.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's from the Beatles. You know.
People asking, what is this? It's the space society.
Nation.
Space nation
Yes.
of Asgardia.
But the important thing is the UN recognized Asgardia as the first space nation. This is for real.
Yeah, and they have their own currency, the solar currency.
The solar, which means the sun, they have the own constitution. The UN said this is the first space nation.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a space nation. So this is the same thing as Sputnik.
And
Everything
you can
is
join
part
them
of.
for $25 a month. You can join them. It's easy.
You can join them, exactly. And the same thing is the Space Force.
Right.
Again, this is targeting another sector of the society. But the idea of bringing everyone together in the same concept of the space,
right?
This is how you do it.
It's a gigantic space show.
It's and the word gigantic means millions of trillions of dollars, and ideas and corporations work together to cover every corner in the world.
Bob said it's not Asgardia, it's Retardia. I didn't know that. Good joke, Bob. Good joke, Bob. It's good. All right.
It's good. Yeah, we approve it.
We approve that one.
One of the most important shows made out there for real life is how important it is to take the space shuttle from one hangar to the other one and show all the people. We're going to translate the spacecraft. Yeah, please look
into the
us.
street. Close down the streets.
We are important. Look at that.
Look at our big blimp.
That. Yeah.
Push it down over here.
Yeah.
Oh man, look at this. Oh, everybody out cheering on
this part is amazing.
Yeah. Everybody on the patio, on the balconies.
So,
everybody come out and clap. Close down the streets. Oh, there you go.
A little subtle symbology.
She ruled the men who ruled the world.
Yeah, Cleopatra. But this is a gigantic space show. They bring to one side to the other just for be presence in the society.
That was really necessary.
Okay. Yeah. Then you have, for example, this is from 2018, and if you take this symbol here, you came with the telema symbol of Aleister Crowley, and the double.
It's right there.
Yeah, exactly right there. But this is a fashion show from a very important signature, which is Chanel.
Oh, okay.
So why Chanel in France use a rocket space to make a fashion show? Because they are brainwashing, and they come out from a dome.
Space show.
Gigantic space show. You have here the symbol of the womb, of feminist, drawing on the symbol of the masculine, which is a rocket. The people came out from the gigantic white Antarctic dome to the stage through the telema symbology. Everything is dressed
space
with black
gear.
and white. Yeah, and in fact, I don't put here, but one of the clothes that the models present here, it has all tiny square and compass.
Oh.
Inside of the of the cloth. So no,
wow.
And they, of course, when finish the fashion mode, they launch the rocket.
Oh boy.
With all the they make complete show. But this is just brainwashing. This is brainwashing. And you have the same thing, of course, Netflix
all
and
over.
all these, the original Men in Blacks, the Jesuits, the alien agenda all over the place, all the movies, all the entertainment, the documentaries, the science behind the things that you present, like
Ancient
they
aliens.
go.
This show I did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is all part of the same agenda. Then you have all the rituals that Hollywood use, again, all over the place. I don't want to be redundant, but I mean, you need to present at least, because every symbol out there came from this, occultist knowledge.
Right.
Of course, we still have the Emmy Awards being an astronaut.
Right.
Why?
The MTV Awards of the astronaut.
Why? I mean, they are all musicians,
right?
But the trophy is an astronaut.
Right. For what reason other than to sell you more space, to sell you more fraud?
Exactly. Of course, the first video on MTV or Masonic television was based on the moon landing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the false McCartney, with NASA suits and all these kind of things, all these kind of related behind the scenes with the occultist, again, being their managers. Then you have Paul McCartney, stopping the show for talking with astronauts in the ISS.
The ISS, right.
Yeah. Then you have, I don't know, Elvis Presley, via satellite. What?
Right. Oh boy.
Again. That is why when you and I said at the beginning, we need like 3 weeks to cover the gigantic space show. But
right.
I think with this kind of thing, you can, make an idea how gigantic is, how much money they put on space.
Yeah, because it's the easiest deception. We talked about it in part 1 and part 2, that it's the easiest thing to sell you is the invisible, the thing you can't see. It's just like Narnia.
But you need to put out there every single second of the life of human being.
Right. Otherwise, people might catch on to it, but it's constant. It's a barrage everywhere. Once you wake up to this, too, you can't watch a television program anymore without seeing how the globe is used as the number one artifact on every TV show. It's got to be in every scene. And you may not believe it unless you start waking up to it and paying attention, that it's everywhere. It signifies scientific prowess or intelligence. As if this person's a smart person, they have a globe in their bedroom. If these are good parents, they have a globe in the child's nursery. If this is a good school, they've got globes all around the room and pictures of Saturn on the wall. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? Exactly. And this is an official album, graphic album from Coldplay, a head full of dreams. You have the serpent, you have the rockets, the Saturn, the moon with the guy upside down, the mirror here. If you just put a mirror here, you're gonna see a lot of hidden message. All the rainbow colors. A head full of dreams, being a monkey in space with the moon, more explicit, I believe that you cannot be, right?
The kid hanging from the Saturn ball there.
Everything is everything that simply cover. And in fact, and this is not copyright because it's a cover, but you have the song. Of course, Coldplay make that song called "Scientist," which is like a too much law for scientists. Right. No, please take, to read the lyrics of the Scientist music from Coldplay. And
yeah, I remember we listened. We listened to it in the car, didn't we?
I believe that.
Yeah.
And we listened this one, which is Politik.
Yeah.
And the first phrase is very. Let me just play it.
Mm-hmm.
I made the video clip, of course, to reinforce the concept behind Politik.
Right.
Give me time, give me space. Give me real, don't give me fake. Give me strength, reserve control. Give me heart and give me soul. Give me time, give us a kiss. Tell me your own politic.
And I stop right there. If you want to see complete in my English channel, is available. But like someone said here in the comment section, but why is all yellow? I don't know. I don't know. But give me something real. Don't give me fake. If you are go outside and look the earth from outer space, I mean, give me time, give me space, give me Albert Einstein, everyone. It's in complete nonsense. No ever in the history of music, ever, nobody's going to write a song about that. Nobody.
No, unless they're writing it for a reason. It's part of the club.
Exactly. Then you have Shane Blunt, as I mentioned, and I encourage everyone to look into the Oxford University lecture that this guy gave. Of course, with the lighting ball representing the fallen ones, you know. But how you are made or make an album called Moon Landing when your your most famous song was about love and you are beautiful?
Right.
I mean, how you change to this to that?
Oh.
It's impossible. And the first, but let me just go a little more deep. The first two songs. The first one is called Face the Sun. The second is called Satellites.
Give me a break.
And the 7 is called Sun on Sunday. And the number 12 is called I Love Jesuit Order.
That's the hidden track.
The hidden tracks, exactly. So, I mean, it's ridiculous, man. And this, I present this, but this is part of the presentation. I'm just getting to the finished part, okay? I don't know how we are in terms of the time.
We're not worried about time. You're doing good. Go.
Okay. But here you can clearly see how they use, because you cannot even compare how much reach people with entertainment. There is a lot of people really fan of science, but in comparison with the entertainment, with the music, it's just a really tiny percentage of that. I mean, you need to cover more wide range of people. So the music is the perfect arena. And I believe it's even perfect than football or soccer, which is the one most important sport out there to brainwash people. But in sport, all the people are focused on the match itself, and they don't pay so much attention because everyone is singing whatever they want. It's just talking about how the match goes and things like that. But when you are to listen a concert, you are entering like in a hypnotized state. So whatever the leader, the tribal leader said on stage, you're going to pay attention.
Yeah.
And most important,
and if it keeps being said over and over again, and if it keeps being said in every aspect of your life, eventually you buy it.
Exactly. And the most important thing is that the music create a resonance, a vibration that slow down your emotion, and it's open, opens you in terms of the, they use emotion to open your brain, your heart, to put a message there. That is why Disney, all the movies of Disney, in the first part of the movie, someone important die and create this trauma, and they use trauma to bring the message in. So the music is the most important thing. And of course, U2 with all the symbology behind, and Bono being like this leader of the ecologists and blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows that, how he promotes every agenda out there. Every agenda is Bono behind it.
Right, Bono's
so
big.
Exactly. And of course, when you talk even space, they create like space tour with NASA. So he's singing this in a little while, very, very sad song. with space shuttle in the background. And the Apollo missions.
I'll be there.
And the crowd loves it. The crowd's waving their lighters.
Hurt no more.
Oh, I just played 3 seconds to don't have any copyright things.
Okay.
But why, in the middle of the concert, you're gonna play a very, very sad song with that emotion, and the boys are even broke, and the space shuttle or the Apollo mission in the background with the ISS? Why you're going to participate in this kind of creating this type of tour? Because you are desperate to brainwash people.
We have Reese Burns in the chat is asking about your opinion on crop circles. Did we talk about that in part 1 or part 2?
Part 2.
Yeah, part 2. Reese, check out this video by the same title from a week ago on my channel for part 2, and we also talk about a little bit in part 1, but I think part 2 is where we covered
a little
crop
more.
circles. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more deep than we present in that presentation, but at least you can have the main topic. Yeah, the idea. But look how they talk. Remember, a few moments ago I showed Shane Blunt talking about the moon landing.
Right.
I showed the Beatles, or more specific, the Paul McCartney talking with an astronaut. So this is the same thing as this. And they keep and they repeat all over the place. Here the guy talking with the astronaut. Not live, of course. No? Stop the people. Hearing our astronaut, our heroes.
We gotta listen. Wave your lighters.
A man. But why the astronaut is acting? I mean...
Right. He's been paid to say something. Imagine that.
Imagine that, man. I mean, he's acting and trying to know. And this is an idiot person. Sorry for that. But, I mean, when you hear how he talks, I mean... What?
Thank you, Hiram, by the way.
Into the skies. He lives on a star.
Oh.
It's dying in the night.
No, but look, Bono, looking like in love.
like he's doing a flag salute to the flag. Oh.
He follows in the trail.
Wow.
The scatter of light.
No, what? He's extended his arm to the stars.
Like he's worshiping.
Sorry, no.
He's worshiping the Lord now. He's at church. He's being compelled by the Spirit.
Yeah. Exactly. But he's representing the crowd. That is what the thing is simple as that. He's trying to put that message into the crowd.
Yep. So that they feel the same way. Oh.
Commander Frank the Wind.
Commander. Nobody in his family called Commander. I mean, that was the most respectable word I've ever heard. You know?
Commander.
Commander.
Oh, great. You might as well say Savior. Savior, pray for us down here.
Yeah. Let me just play this.
International Space Station. Thank you for joining us this evening. Stay calm.
Oh boy. What is he crying?
2009.
So I'm going to try and see if we can get in touch now.
Hello, Dublin. What's the crack? You all having a good night?
Space crack.
And I asked them also for if they have one special message for us.
Yes, one special message. Really special message. Let me play.
Broke Park tonight. Future needs a big kiss. Thank you all.
Tampa. All over the place.
Yeah.
This is one of the best, you know, the clown.
Oh, you are the first clown.
Of course, fits right in, doesn't it? Oops, we lost Iro for a moment. 1 second.
The great idea.
We lost you for a quick second.
We're
back.
Yeah,
You're back.
I know that.
Oh,
no, I saying that we used to laugh about this because Bono said that you are the first clown space, but everyone is a clown space.
Right, exactly.
So, but you know.
Clown.
Oh, I keep losing you.
On our. Oh, sorry.
That's right. You're back.
Okay, I'm back. We know how to live with these technical issues. You know, these guys are connected with the ISS without any problems, but we lost signal here on in our homes. But the thing is that the message that Bono is downloaded from the for the crowd is like telling you, Commander, you up there with in your perspective about our tiny world.
To give us your perspective on our little planet while you're not on our little planet and instead looking down on it. And how do we look from here? How does our little planet look, Pete?
How many times said little planet,
30,
little planet,
30,
little planet?
33 times.
Yeah, exactly. You count.
Well, I will tell you, every time that I look downstairs, I see a fantastic planet. The blue of it, when there's cloud, sunrise, sunset, there's amazing image. Sometimes you see the moon and earth at the same time in the perspective that we cannot see. And I'm looking...
All that we see from down here as well.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean,
and his shirt too, the poetic social mission with the sun and the moon and the little blue earth.
Yeah. Yes.
Looking all around me, I see stars.
I see stars. They never show the stars.
No.
How many times they say, no, the blackness of space, no, we see stars, no, everything is white, no, now it's dark.
That's the thing. They'll be forever messed up on that one because they've got too many answers. They can never get it right now.
Exactly.
I see darkness.
Darkness. I see darkness.
I see darkness. I see emptiness. And you know
I think see stars.
Planet Earth looks so great, but also so fragile. So today is a tribute to Earth, and I'm telling you, you're looking great, and we should not forget that we have a great privilege to live on planet Earth. That's for sure.
Amen.
Thank you, Guy. Guy La Liberté, first clown in space. Safe trip, safe home, Guy. So let's get for liftoff here.
And now a very emotional, high vibration in terms of the frequency that song I'm not going to play. But you need to take. I know that I really fucked the show with my laugh and trying to explain this, but the idea is you need to take this as social engineering.
Right.
It's perfect.
That's what his shirt said.
It's perfect. They use sad songs, very high songs in terms of emotion songs. They stop in the middle. They make the crowd paying attention to screen, talk with astronauts, so bring that message to home. You know, maybe that part is most important than the complete show. Maybe when the people get back to home, say, no, and in the middle of the show, they start talking with the astronaut.
Oh, it was
and
beautiful. You should have been there. We felt the energy.
We felt the energy, exactly. Exactly. You know, so, and that's, you know, if you start, that is more danger than the contagious rate of the corona.
Yeah, exactly.
It's simply as that, man.
It's the same.
It's simply as that. They also use trauma to deliver the space message with the 2001. Look at that image, man. This is a complete garbage.
Yeah.
2001.
What is
and the third expedition to the International Space Station.
If you buy this, get out of here.
And look at that.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be real, folks.
Not even the perspective match.
Mm-mm.
Had no clue of what was really going on. And he began to describe to me what had happened with the World Trade Center, the plane that had crashed into the Pentagon. And then as we were talking, he said another plane has just crashed in Pennsylvania. We don't know what that's all about.
Again, the music.
I raced around.
You know, I'm not going to play, you know, because I don't know about that song. But the astronaut, you know, is talking about how they look into the smoke of the you know, World Trade Center. Yeah. Never live. You know, they showed this
after
3 years later, and how everything was concerned about, of course, this tragedy. But again, they use for creating trauma and make this relation between the 9/11, which is a very memorial day, very important day in terms of the nation identity, to connect with the space.
Mm-hmm.
That is all about. Look at this garbage, man. I mean, what is this? But at that time, this is the best that you can get.
Right.
And for that time, this was impressive. But now, with our new eyes...
Oh, now we got lights, and we've got storms, and we've got the yellow hue
You have
of
the
the
PlayStation
atmosphere.
4 in your living room.
Right.
So how are you going to compete with that? This is
Goodness.
They have trumpet, piano, violins, guitars, flute.
Whatever they need.
They have like
Monkey suits.
They have more instrument than here on Earth, man.
Football.
It's amazing. So in Spain, for example, in Europe, this is from 2019. This is a very festive day. Remember when the people get out to the street and celebrate things?
Yeah.
Well, they celebrate the Earth. I don't know which is the name of that celebration in Spain, but look how it ends with the spherical world and the sun on top. Camouflage as a smiling arrow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to pronounce. Then you have
with the corona.
All with the corona, yeah, man. Maybe that's the crown there, yeah, the corona. Then you have all the toys for the kids. You have the pillow made by NASA, and that is official.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, you can sleep well. Then you can keep sleeping. You have the jacket. You have it's all over the place. But for me, I see this as a way of creating this Bluebeam project, because like we said before, it's more easy to create in your mind than create it out there in the sky. That
Right.
is the first ground that they need to cover.
Right. You need to build the foundations on your way up, and the start of it is to build it in your mind. This whole idea, this whole fabrication.
Exactly. And
Illusion.
of course, the game industry.
Oh yeah, that's huge there.
It's huge. I cannot put, of course, I just put game over for the globe. But I mean, if you go to the game industry, it's endless. Or I don't know how to pronounce, but I mean, you can go weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
You can go Kerbal. Kerbal has orbital dynamics, orbital mechanics, and if it has it, why can't the Earth have it?
Yeah, and then you have like San Andrea, Grand Theft Auto with all the message from inside the game with the CIA, and they have another games talking about the flat Earth, another one talking about this and about that, and it's all over the place. It's one of the best, more fertile grounds to brainwash people, young people.
Absolutely, and it starts so young. You can't
Exactly.
even calculate how young. It starts with babies lying in cribs with the planets above their head and their little mobiles.
Exactly. And I know you saw, because you are a good researcher, and you saw everything in terms of connection between media and brands and marketing with space. I know out there we have people in the chat that they really have this wide consciousness about the fakery of space. But I bet you that you never see something like this. This is in Spanish. Is a Spanish publicity of a cream for your face.
Okay.
If you are a woman, an old age woman, and you want to, be more beauty, you need to use cream. And it's in Spanish, but I translated, just subtitle. But I don't know. But right now we have a new type of cream that is going to solve all your age problems.
Sometimes your videos knock you off. Let's see if you come back.
Okay, I know we lost the connection.
It's okay, we're back. I think it seems like when you do
Okay.
videos is when it happens, but let's try again.
Okay, could be the bitrate transferring via Skype.
Try it.
Let me just play and pay attention to the subtitles, please, and take a good day. With this, we finish, I think, the week.
Okay. No, it does not like the play button for you.
Yes, could be the video. I know that.
Maybe.
I know that. Could be the video, the video with the sound.
So tell us what happens, just to walk us through it.
Yes. Is walking and saying, she said, Cicatricure present its new finding.
Mm-hmm.
Cicatricure gold lift. Over the time, gravitational wrinkles appear. And that is the main topic of to sell the cream. We have gravitational wrinkles in our face,
pulling us down.
So this cream pulls us down. Yes, it's not just gravity pulling you down. It's the gravitational waves creating. But that is the main topic of the firm, of the product.
Right.
You know, I mean, when the firmness of the facial contour is lost, gravitational wrinkles arise. What?
Yes.
So the fact is, this is how far they can get. They can go.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
What is reducing? I want to a certificate that in 6 weeks you can reducing the gravitational wrinkles.
Oh boy,
it's insane. And I remember the days when this publicity was delivered in our local television. I mean, this is world nationwide. I don't know how to say, but it's all over the place in the Argentina television, because this is one of the most important top model in Argentina. So the fact is that they use every single idea
possible
to brainwash with the space religion, without any doubt of that. I know that maybe we present so many type of backgrounds that we lost the main topic of the gigantic space show, but maybe we just covered 20%.
Right. We could do hours on it.
Yeah, but the main concept is, before projecting images in the sky, they have done it in your mind. For you, maybe the alien invasion has already started. That is the main topic behind all these presentation that I really enjoyed it. And, you know, before going to the spiritual part, that we can, if you want to, we can make another one, the last part, the fourth.
Okay.
Because there are 4 steps, so maybe fourth video is the most correct thing. But I want to finish with this one, which is, we see that the fall of all archaeological knowledge is possible, and in fact it happened.
It's complete.
It's complete. The gigantic space show, you know, it's super complete, and even more than that. And of course they have the 3D optical images to produce images in the sky. That was we covered in the second part of this presentation. The rest is the idea that they need to put in your mind before they put in the sky.
Right.
And the third one that is on the document is about the electronic bidirectional telepathic communication, which, you know, if you want to read it.
Sure. Waves, ELF, extra low frequency, VLF, very low frequency, and LF, low frequency, will locate people on Earth through the interiors of their brains, making each person believe that their own God is speaking to them from within its own soul.
Exactly. So that is possible. And remember, they wrote this document in the 80s, 1980s.
And I think they can already do that. You think that they can mess with people's minds?
Completely.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to show you right now, because this is from 2004. I don't know if you saw this technology. Did you see it?
No, go ahead, play it.
Oh, okay. I hope.
Oh wait, maybe it won't work, huh? We'll try it.
Yeah, wait, let's try to. Okay.
Bob said if you turn off everything else connected to the internet, maybe it'll work. I don't know. If you have
yes, I disconnect all the cell phones. I turn off the notebook. I don't have even someone playing Netflix, nothing like that. So I have bad connection here. That's simply, and in fact, it's that this kind of issue with with the bit rate is always happening when I use Skype.
Yeah, weird.
If I don't use Skype, everything goes right. But it's like Skype is taking me all the connection. I don't know. So let me just play and see what's going on. Okay.
Became an inventor by accident.
And sorry, I'm going to say a few things. First of all, this is a nice video to analyze in terms of the education, because like we mentioned before, we have so many theoretical scientists out there, but we start losing inventors.
Right, those are all gone. Because those are the people who think outside the box, and you don't make it through school if you think outside the box. You don't move up, become a scientist, get into these professions unless you simply repeat what you've been taught, in which case, how are you ever going to invent a damn thing?
Exactly. And this guy is saying that at the beginning, because he left the first area, well, let me just play the video and leave saying.
Became an inventor by accident.
I became an inventor by accident, because you need to leave school to do that, of course.
I was out of the Air Force in 1956. No, that's not true. I went in 1956. Came out in 1959. There's a mix an inventor has to have. You have to be kind of smart. And though I did not graduate from college.
And that is the first key.
Right. Absolutely.
I never graduate from school, from the university.
Look at history. Look at all these people, all the greats of all time, all didn't make it through. Why?
Exactly.
And they became great.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean I'm stupid, because you cannot be stupid and do very much in the world today. Too many other smart people out there. So I just happen to get my education in a little different way. I'm not at all against education. I think it's wonderful. I think sometimes people, when they get educated, lose it.
And that is another key. You know, when you get educated, we lose you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. I'm going to. I make this post for Skype recover and leave more buffer to transmit the video.
I want to talk to you about an invention I brought with me today. I call this hypersonic sound. I'm going to play it for you in a couple of minutes, but I want to make an analogy before I do to this. I usually show this hypersonic sound and people will say, that's really cool, but what's it good for? And I say, what is the light bulb good for? Sound, light. I'm going to draw the analogy. Light came out of it in every direction. Before the light bulb was invented, people had figured out how to put a reflector behind it, focus it a little bit, put lenses in front of it, focus it a little bit better. Ultimately, we figured out how to make things like lasers that were totally focused. What the importance is of being able to focus light. Now, after almost 80 years of having sound, I thought it was about time we figure out a way to put sound where you want to. What if I could aim sound the way I aim light?
And maybe you don't notice, but when he turned on this, the camera started making some kind of strange sound fail. And let me just, I'm going to continue that, but I want to just make this disclaimer. This is just a brief part of the complete presentation. The complete presentation is about 12 minutes, and I'm going to upload it into my YouTube English channel to everyone to want to see it, because it's a really very, very extensive presentation in terms of the main idea. I just take the important parts for this presentation to not make very long, but it's amazing the analogies that this guy talks about the speed of light being nonsense and the speed of sounds and blah blah blah, and it has, you know, just tiny parts of for people that are really wake up in terms of the cosmology that we study today via Flat Earth. Is a really nice TED talk, but I'm going to leave as it is right now.
I got this waterfall I recorded in my backyard. Now, you're not going to hear a thing unless it hits you. Maybe if I hit the sidewall, bounce around the room. The sound is being made right next to your ears.
Do you catch that?
Mm-hmm.
When the guy is moving this, he's making a sound, and the people are hearing that sound. But only hear it the ones who have been focused in this area.
Right, they're the ones that are being aimed to.
Exactly. You don't listen nothing into the camera because you don't have ears
Mm-hmm.
in the camera. So the guy make the sounds bounce on the wall, and now when it's bounce on the wall, all the audience start hearing the sound at the same time. But before that, it's just only the person that this guy aimed with this so-called speaker. But let me just continue.
Unless it hits you. Maybe if I hit the sidewall, it bounce around the room. The sound is being made right next to your ears. Is that cool? Because the sound is made in the air along this column, it does not follow the inverse square law, which says it drops off about 2/3 every time you double the distance. 6 dB every time you go from 1 meter, for instance, to 2 meters. So again, this idea of being able to put sound anywhere you want to is really starting to catch on. It also works for transmitting and communicating data. It also works 5 times better underwater. We've got the military had just...
And this is the part that is completely related with the Blue Beam NASA project, because we have the militaries that are
deployed some of these into Iraq, where you can put fake troop movements a quarter of a mile away on a hillside. Or you can whisper in the ear of a supposed terrorist some biblical verse. Or you can whisper in the ear of a supposed terrorist some biblical verse.
And the audience believe that maybe he's joking about that statement, but it's not.
Not a joke.
I'm serious.
Or you can whisper in the ear of a supposed terrorist some biblical verse. I'm serious.
And they have these infrared devices that can look at their countenance and see a fraction of a degree Kelvin in temperature shift from 100 yards away when they play this thing. We make a version of this which puts out 155 decibels. Pain is 120. So it allows you to go nearly a mile away and communicate with people, and there can be a public beach just off to the side and they don't even know it's turned on. We sell those to the military presently for about $70,000, and they're buying them as fast as we can make them. We put it on a turret with a camera so that when they shoot at you, you're over there and it's there. So I've been really lucky as an inventor. I'm the happiest guy you're ever going to meet.
And sounds familiar, that technology?
Yeah, absolutely. And you wonder about some of these patsies and these other operatives who are basically activated, and they go out and do insane shit, and even they don't remember doing it. And these are the same guys that we never see go to trial, of course. I wonder why.
Exactly. So that technology that the Space Busters show as a 5G and all the radiation, it came from that guy. And that guy invented this technology that they use for hitting you directly via sound, because the sound is a vibration. So they, change your vibration, and that is what is going to happen to you. But also, they can use that to aim directly to your ear a sound where the message with the message that they want to. Even like he explicit said,
like a Bible verse,
a biblical verse directly to the. So if you ask to me that if this technology that is presented 40 years ago, 50 years ago in the Blue Beam NASA project, it's possible completely.
I think they were doing it with the Germans and the testing on civilians in the early 40s, 50s, 60s.
Exactly, man. So it's complete perfectly. It's complete. It's perfectly
complete. Yeah.
Complete. Yeah. I mean, so we have all these. We have the technology to fake our alien invasion. Another thing is if they're going to do in this explicit way or not. I believe that in 90% is the only thing that we are waiting for is the image on the sky. The rest is complete.
Right.
It's complete.
And they may not even need the image in the sky anymore.
No.
They've built it
No.
up so well in your mind, they don't need the actuality of it anymore. People are already infected.
Exactly. It's already infected, like you said. So the thing is that the universal supernatural manifestation using technology and digital media, of course, is related with all that we that we showed before. And other just another topic that for me is very on the it's a nice topic to discuss. I am not confirming nothing about that, but that we have the hum sounds that, of course, for me at least, is related with cranes and just companies that are making holes in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But
it could be other things. Could be harp. Could be a lot of things.
Exactly, yeah. Could be harp, could be earthquakes, could be friction of the earth, whatever. But the fact is that the UFO community takes that to say, no, these are, not only the UFO community, also the religious community is taking that to make that, saying, no, that sound is the final trumpet of the end of the days, and others say, no, it's a super spacecraft, or no, there is the hollow earth that we have inside of the people. The thing is that in our days, everything that is out of our daily basis stuff is related to God again, to a religious, not to God, to a religion, or to the new religion, which is the UFO and space. That is my, simply way to look at it. It's just... This is the type of sounds that we are talking about. Of course,
a lot of videos. Yeah,
I just play for the people. You have this all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there are very strange and scary sounds. We have here on Chile, when supposedly the 33 people that get side of 33, and there is movie, Antonio Banderas is one of the main characters, but things like that. The Chile government called the NASA guys.
Right.
To make the hole, and they bring the machines, and the same type of sounds was
heard.
Listened there.
So they could be just digging into the ground, more tunnels, more underground bases.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that part I just want to bring into the presentation in the way, like you said before. We know there is technology, maybe not, to do this kind of oscillation on the ground. We have even, just big machines to do that for creating tunnels and bridges, and, make holes on mountains. We have harps, of course. Mm-hmm. But the main idea here is that those sounds, again, a lot of people make a direct relationship with religious events, with supernatural manifestations.
Right.
That is the main key behind that topic. That is why I bring that. I mean, everything for me on this document is possible in our days. Everything. We don't have any inconvenience in terms of the technology that they use. Maybe they don't have to project the UFO invention to in the sky. Maybe they don't need to camouflage planes or drones faking alien spacecraft, whatever. But we have that in our minds. We have the asteroid, the meteor, the comet, the Hollywood, the alien agenda. We have everything, all the condiments to make this possible in our days.
Absolutely.
And I just finished with for me, one of the most important thing is that the ultimate goal is to insert the New World Order via this thing, and it has a really spiritual war behind. So the next, the last presentation, if you want, we can make the spiritual connection with the UFOs and the false alien agenda.
Good, yeah, let's do that. And I'll see if I can bump the guy from next Thursday so we can do this in order. If not, we'll do it the Thursday after.
Okay, no problem. I know that I maybe take more.
No, it's good.
More steps that we talk about it.
It's good. Somebody in the chat, I'm just reading some chat. Somebody says if they cut the FE channels, we go to DLive. Yes, I would agree with that, because they already got rid of Mountain Bear. I saw is gone today. Owen Benjamin's backup channel is gone today, so they're definitely doing a little cleanup. And we'll be here as long as we can.
3 videos.
Yeah, luckily you didn't get any strikes though, right? Just the straight removal.
No, they just deleted because all my my last 8 video was about this pandemic and a solution, and based on the chloride dioxide gas, and so they take out all these 3 videos.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing. So we're going to be here as long as we can. We're going to be giving you the topics we want to cover and try and get people through this crazy time. But if you don't like the info that's presented, I mean, if you don't like the show topics, well, you can always watch something else. That's the great thing about YouTube. If you, if you think of another topic should be being covered, make a YouTube channel and do a show. Cover the topics. And if it's good and people like it, people will watch. People will subscribe. So do that. But otherwise, good. Shadow Mind Bear says Mountain Bear has a new channel. Good. I'll try and find that because I couldn't find it today. Somebody talking about QAnon and Trump are not legit. Yeah, and I think tomorrow, if I can, I still haven't asked him yet, but I'm going to see if Joe will come on with us tomorrow for the Friday Lounge, Joe Imbriano. But I'm not sure he'll be able to since I'm going to be asking him a day before. But eventually I'll have him on because he's got the same kind of idea. He doesn't believe in Q, doesn't believe in Trump.
Me either, man. I mean, we have a very, very, very important researcher here in the Spanish community, which is an historian that present all the paper document that Donald Trump was recruited by Jesuits. He was with the University of Jesuit, and I mean,
well, you don't become the as big as he is in real estate in New York unless you're playing the game. And anybody who thinks we elect presidents, in my mind, is out of their mind anyway. It's basically give you these 2 people and give you the illusion of choice. Everything that they do, whether it's the NASA Blue Beam Project, whether it's the coronavirus, whatever they're doing is always a mission of control. And they're just proving to themselves more and more that they have complete control. Look at what people have done. Look at the freedoms that they've given up just in these past 2 weeks. It's insane.
Yeah, man.
Somebody says, check out bearvibe.com for updates from Coddington Bear. Good. Glad to know that website. Everyone, that's bearvibe.com. Dublix Flow Airship says, thank you, Jeranism. Thank you very much for that, guys. Owen's on a channel called Brave Bear. Yes. And the great thing is, DLive is got Owen. I mean, that's why I like DLive, and it feels good to have that channel in case anything goes on. That's why I simulcast there, just because you never know. And again, join us tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the Friday Lounge, and it should be fun. We'll talk a little bit more about Corona. We'll get into that a little bit more than we did today. But I think it's good to have other topics too, because this is just insane. And for somebody like me, I hate the news. Why would you watch the news? You know that they're lying to you. So in this time of fear, I feel like everybody wants to talk about everything going on in the news. The news says this, the news says that. Well, I don't like to discuss things like that. Like I said, my wife and I have been playing Yahtzee. So maybe it's hard to make videos about, all right, what happened yesterday in the Yahtzee game? I scored 240. And what am I going to do? I'm just not going to talk about that. But people are saying that it's buffering. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, but we will have part 4, which will finish up the topic on the NASA Blue Beam project. Of course, we've got the lounge tomorrow, which should be fun. We'll talk a lot of things. We'll also discuss the article I was telling you about, the one that has the 12 doctors that have a different opinion, because that's what this show is about. It's about other opinions than the mainstream. And that's what's great. Here's 12 experts questioning the coronavirus panic. And, of course, it is a panic, and it is insane, and people have lost their minds, and they have succumbed to the media and to the TV. And whatever the TV says, whatever NBC News says, this is what people believe. This is what they've accepted. What you have to imagine is, where would your life be today if it wasn't for the media? Think about if you hadn't any connection to the media or to the news in the last month. How different would your life be today? unfortunately, that has become reality for people. That has become the most important source for them is what's going on in the media. The media is telling us these people are dying. The media is telling me I need to stay home. The media is telling me I need to fear. Now the media is telling me I'm going to get a check in the mail. When is my check coming? How much is my check going to be? This is what people are worried about. For me, I'd rather worry about other things like what am I going to have for dinner? What nutritious thing am I going to eat today? And how am I going to spend time with my family and my wife? So anyway, that's just me. But people are free to believe whatever they want. So, Iru, any final words before we head out?
No, if you don't understand my English, active the subtitle, automatic subtitle in the YouTube.
I don't know if it'd be
but
much better.
No, I don't think even Google understand my my English.
Probably not.
But
it's good. Nobody can say they don't understand you. I mean, yeah, you just got to listen a little carefully.
I complain more than is necessary, but I know maybe some people, don't like my English, and I understand that. But who cares?
There you go.
Change the channel and see other.
That's all
other
I'm saying.
presentations.
Now you're getting to my line of thinking. Yeah, no, that's how I think.
Yeah, exactly.
If people tune in and they're like, "Oh, it's Iru. I don't understand Iru." Well, if I ever tuned into a channel and there was somebody I didn't understand, I would just go to something else. That's just me. So we can police ourselves, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
We can easily
no, but
do it.
I am in your line of thought too, man. I mean, this ultimate 2 weeks. I even have this issue with my own family. I mean,
Right.
Linda, my girlfriend, is here. She came from Europe 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And I cannot even go to my mother's house because my mother is an old woman and she is afraid, and she knows that this is all kind of not fake in terms of the virus itself. For me, the virus doesn't exist.
Right.
I'm not going to go deep in that, but I mean,
Well,
my
we can
mother
talk about it
wants to
tomorrow.
wait 2 weeks before start taking contact with us because she is 65 years old, so he's a very special type of patient. If she contract that, and it's crazy,
Right.
man, it's crazy. But
Well, that's the scary thing for those people, and again, this is why their indoctrination works so well, is that it puts fear into people. And I'm the same way. I don't think the virus exists as we've been told at all. I don't think viruses exist like we've been taught. Again, so what I do is I just stay positive, and I eat healthy, and I build my immune system. Now, a lot of people think 5G is the coronavirus. I'm not in that camp completely either. I think 5G, though, can damage your immune system. And if it, kind of creates a bad self, if it kind of creates a bad feeling for you, if it makes a negative feeling, then it just helps them even more. And so that's why I try and be strong, be healthy, and not worry, not have fear, because fear is the biggest detriment to our ease, right? And that's what disease is caused of the dis-ease. So if you start worrying and you start fretting and you're afraid, that's when I think you're most vulnerable. And I'd hate to say, my mom passed away in November, and I would hate to say ever that I'm happy about that. But I mean, really, in this time, she was somebody who really paid a lot of attention to the news, and she would be filled with anxiety and fear. And
like my mother.
Yeah, and I'm happy that she's not. Now, again, I wish she was here, and I would take her being here and being in disease and worried about that more than her being gone. But at the same time, I look at it and I'm like, well, I think she's in a better place. I know she's in a better place. I know that she doesn't have those fears right now. And that makes me feel, good inside, that I'm glad that she's not part of this fear that's going around, because everybody has it. I mean, I drive around this town and it's insanity. What's going on? People are so worried. People are afraid to be next to each other. People are afraid to touch. I mean, that's the worst thing you can imagine. That's scary.
Yeah, no, things, the things here is the same.
Right.
It's the same.
Yeah, and I just don't want to be part of it. So, again, we'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow, see what everybody's got to say about it. So join us for the Friday Lounge. That's at 12 noon tomorrow. Hopefully Iru's here, Rodrigo, a couple other people, and I'll see if Joe and Brianna wants to join us, because he's somebody who's out there saying that, of course, the virus is fake. Another person who believes viruses aren't what we've been taught. And, again, we live in an age of deception, and it shouldn't shock you when you're hearing these things. And it's just like Flat Earth, or it's just like, we didn't go to the moon. Anything else, when you hear these things for the first time, they shock you. Why? Because you've been conditioned to feel otherwise. And we just have to learn to hear it and say, okay, I don't necessarily believe that, but let me look into it, do my own research. And when you do that, you come out the other side a much smarter person, more knowledgeable than you were before. I think we lost Iru. Or Iru, are you back?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Any final words before we go?
No, thank you everyone for being the show. I'm still with you.
Okay, yep, you're still here.
Okay, because I have my internet supposedly icon from Windows that supposedly I not.
Well, you keep dropping, but that's okay. We'll just say goodbye, and we'll tell everybody we'll be back for part 4 either next week, or next week we'll have Josh Brown on. There he goes again.
my presentation. No, I know. No, right now it's okay, right?
Now you're back again.
Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, to have the patience to, take into consideration my information.
Good.
Thank you to invite me to your channel. For me, it's a really huge opportunity to meet new people and have, new connections. A lot of people write me after this type of presentation. So thank you so much.
And
thank you so much for
Iru.
the guys that support me.
Yeah, I was going to say support Iru. You can definitely do so on Patreon. If you want to support me and join my Patreon, that's patreon.com/jeranism. For Iru, just change the slash to Nur para Todos, NURPARATODOS. Sorry. Jesus. He didn't get that out quite right. Nur para Todos. The links to his English and Spanish channel are both in the description of this video. And if you want to send me something in the mail, the good old Pony Express, you can do so. P.O. Box 3044, Merced, California, 95344. Haven't gotten a lot of mail lately, but if you want to send something, go ahead and do so. But that's about it. This has been Jeran and Iru. I remind you guys to do your own research, because when you do, you'll never again believe what you've been taught. Please stay healthy, stay sane. Do not watch the news. It is the worst thing that you can possibly do. And, like I said, stay healthy. Let's flatten the curve, but as I've been asking myself lately, and for the last 5 years, where the hell's the curve? That's the problem.
Exactly.
Till next time, this has been...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I said the same here in
where
Spanish.
is it? Yeah. Nice. Bob says if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter. Thanks, Bob. All right. See you guys tomorrow for the Jeranism Friday Lounge. Till then, this has been Jeran and Iru. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you so much.